So we kicked off the year with a whole new, all Republican-led Congress, Donald Trump in the White House. There was a lot of optimism. And right off the bat, we get hit with a very threatening border adjustment tax, which none of us ever heard of.
But all of a sudden, my livelihood was at risk.
It would bring the import nameplates to their knees.
It could be that devastating. It could put us out of business.
Things happen when you don't get involved, then it's too late to fix the problem.
Was going to be obviously terrible for the dealers, and what were we going to do about it?
Teams can get a lot of things done, individuals struggle.
AIADA was at the forefront of making sure the BAT never saw the light of day.
AIADA was born out of necessity. There was nobody in Washington to protect our very livelihoods and our industry's future.
There was nobody to fight for us.
I think dealers serve a purpose in the whole economic process. We're there for the consumer.
And for their communities. Dealers are some of the most generous people out there. They're highly vested in their communities. They're highly vested in the people that work for them and with them.
We're vested everywhere.
With the employee base that we bring to the United States, it's just such a major force for the economy of the United States.
Clearly, our business was built upon free trade, the principles of free trade. That's always going to be at risk. We have to remain vigilant. We have to pay attention.
I think we're challenged with how to carry on the legacy of our fathers and grandfathers in the industry that have put their heart and soul into it.
Somebody had to do it, and we were the ones.
We designed a lean, agile frontline team to engage the battles and win. The proof is outcomes.
The BAT was really tailored to our strength as an association. It brought all of us together, for the most part, almost all of the industry, with the manufacturers working side by side together. There was a lot of goodwill and a lot of trust built that we've moved on to fight other battles together.
As dealers, we've shown in the past that we can adapt to almost any challenge and thrive.
When the need was there and the call was there, the dealers came right in.
So what makes AIADA so powerful is because we are nimble, we are flexible. We can really take on challenges at a moment's notice. That's what gives us the competitive advantage over other associations.
Performance tells the story. We are the ones.
Teams have to evolve, though. Even future Hall of Famers can't play forever. So we're built to last.
Every car dealer that has an international nameplate should be a member of AIADA, because we are your voice, we are your ears in Washington, D.C.
As the chairman of AIDA for 2018, I need the dealers to get more involved and meet with their legislators and educate them on what these laws they pass cost us in our daily business.
Veteran knowledge and experience, next generation savvy and drive.
I'm very fortunate my daughter has chosen to join me in the automobile business. And she has added a new dimension and probably an ability for us as a dealer group to survive.
At AIDA, we've taken on the challenge of blending the new millennial generation of our next leaders with us baby boomers and beyond.
The seasoned dealers made those evolutionary steps, and I think that's something that, as a younger dealer, we need to look forward to and see how they did that.
AIADA is extremely important to my generation and those after me in continuing to represent us on the Hill and those making very important decisions that affect the future of our industry.
Into the future, we'll be the ones.
This is a process. This isn't something that you do one time and you're done. This is something to build relationships for all of our future.
Repetition. You just have to stay in their faces all the time. Just keep reminding them. You just got to keep meeting with them just over and over again. Repetition is the key.
Sort of our AIADA DNA, so to speak, is that we're proactive, we're prepared, we're lean, and we're always willing to engage.
And get muddy.
You have to get in the mud.
Born to fight.
Designed to win.
Built to last.
We'll always be the ones.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome AIDA President Cody Lusk.
Good afternoon and welcome to AIADA's 48th annual meeting and luncheon. I'm delighted that so many of you have chosen to be with us today. I know a Sunday is tough and you made a great sacrifice to be here, so I want to say thank you. Dealers and industry leaders like you are the lifeblood, not just of AIADA, but this industry. You're the reason for our work in Washington. But as I tell you, every time we gather, we can't do it without you. Now, before we get too far into our program today, I want to take a few moments and recognize some of our special guests here with us today. We've got our great friends and sister association and hosts at NADA. We've got Mary Hannigan and her team at AFIT-PAC, Damon Lester at NAMAD. We have our manufacturing partners and our affinity partners as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do for us and this industry. As you'll see and hear, it was a crazy year in 2017. It looks like this year is going to be just as wild. I want to take a brief moment and say thanks to my staff and the staff at AIADA. I know I speak for the board. I get to get up here, I get to get in the paper, I get the accolades a lot of times, but I can tell you this, and I think the board knows this, and those of you that work with us know, morning, noon, and night, Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. The staff here does what they need to do to get the job done. And I tell you, the proof of that was last night. When they were on the dance floor, they were terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. They've been working way too hard, so I do want to say, staff, thank you for all you do. We appreciate it. As we heard, it was this time last year I got up on stage with a baseball bat. Paul Ritchie, my chairman, just said, okay, go with it. But we were battling a 20% border adjustment tax on imported goods. That would have impacted every single vehicle on your lots. As you saw on the screens last March, hundreds of you joined us in Washington for our emergency bat fly-in, and you took your message straight to Capitol Hill. I tell you what, it was amazing to see dealers, manufacturers, suppliers, our affinity partners locked in arms on behalf of this industry, and you know what happened? We got rid of it, and thank you for all that you did for that. We could not have done that without working together. Obviously, this was omitted from the tax bill, which was passed at the end of the year and is already yielding solid gains for our economy. Now, I wish I could say, hey, 2018 is going to be a rosy scenario, nothing's on the horizon, nothing is happening, free trade is going to rule forever. But you all know that's not the case. We're not out of the woods yet. In recent months, AIADA has been fighting back against an onslaught of anti-trade measures coming out of Washington. And today, we'll be talking more about those mounting challenges our industry is facing in this protectionist environment and what you can do to help us, because we cannot do it alone. Now, we've got our 2017 chairman, Paul Ritchie, here to take a brief look back at the battles and victories he helped us navigate through in 2017. We've also got Action Brad Strong here. There's never going to be a dull moment with him at the chair, and he's going to lay out his roadmap for the year ahead. We're also delighted to have Volkswagen CEO Henrik Webken here to provide his perspective on the challenges that our industry faces in the years ahead. Now, we're also going to meet the recipient of this year's David F. Mungenast Lifetime Achievement Award. But before we get to all of that, I want to take a minute and emphasize the crucial role that each of you played at the grassroots level. We could not have had any of these victories we've talked about or any of the success without dealers being engaged at the grassroots, meeting with their legislators, opening up their pocketbooks, doing what they need to do. And we're going to recognize our first ever 2018 Achievement and Advocacy Award winner. And we've got a great one. We established this award in the name of one of the industry's greatest champions of involvement and engagement. Fritz Hitchcock has single-handedly changed what it means to be a grassroots leader, and you all know what I'm talking about. He has done more behind the scenes for the retail auto industry than most of us will ever know. Now, here to help me present the first ever Fritz Hitchcock Achievement in Advocacy Award is none other than Fritz Hitchcock. So Fritz, please join me on stage.
Thanks, Cody, and thank you for all being here today. I probably named this award after me because I'm so obnoxious when it comes to grassroots lobbying, but it's a sincere honor. It's almost makes you nervous to say your name in conjunction with an award, but somehow I'll figure it out. Anyway, this year's recipient, Bert Bachmann, began his career selling automobiles at Galpin Ford in 1953. Over the years, his exceptional ability, business savvy, and innovative spirit brought him and those around him success. By 1957, at age 26, he was promoted to be general manager of the company. By 64, he was the president and CEO, and by 1968, he was the sole owner of Galpin Ford. Thanks to Bert's leadership, Galpin Ford has been the _1 selling Ford dealership in the world for the last 28 years, and the #2 selling Honda dealer for the last 2 or 3. The Galpin family franchises now include Jaguar, Lincoln, Volvo, Honda, Mazda, Subaru, Kia, Volkswagen, Lotus, and Aston Martin. Building an automotive empire from the ground up, Bert has formed a strong, enduring education and organization based on integrity and service, and employs over 1,400 people today, many of whom have spent their entire working career with Galpin. A devoted husband to his wife Jane and father of 5, recipient of the prestigious Horatio Alger Award, and I might add, an airport hangar full of awards just like that over the years. He's contributed to his community, as demonstrated by his nearly 17 years as a member of the Los Angeles Police Commission. He's donated thousands of countless hours of volunteer time, business expertise, and philanthropic support. He has set an outstanding example of what grassroots advocacy can achieve in preserving our business and making our communities a better place to live. I might add, if you want to run for public office in Southern California at every level, city, county, state, federal, you're darn well going to want to ask Bert to have breakfast or lunch with you at the coffee shop inside Galpin Ford, the Carriage House. That's where you'll learn if you got it and if it makes sense for you to run. And it doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on either, too. It is now my honor to present the 2018 Fritz Hitchcock Achievement Award in Advocacy to my friend and mentor, Mr. Bert Bachmann. Thank you. Say a few words.
Thank you very, very much. You know, the award that he's given me means more to me than perhaps many, many, many that I've received. He and I have been good friends for many years. I've always looked up to Fritz. He was a guy that got things done. And I just bow my head to being the next award recipient from him. I do have with me my family. If I can see my 3 sons, my brother, and other family members might stand and at least wave at the people for me. By the way, yes, they all work in the business, just so you know how we handle the increase in volume. You know, as I've looked over my life, I've enjoyed the auto business tremendously. I really love it. It has lots of ups and downs, but when I look back at the relationships that I'd formed with people, the vast majority are people in our business. And I think, you know, I love that so much. The attitudes and all that we have, the things we go out and get, the effort that we'll put in, and also when it comes to friendship, we have more to talk about than I think any other group I know. So I thank all of you here, both the dealers and those that work with us, and those that work for us. I thank you very much. May God bless you. Thank you.
All right, next, let's look back at Chairman Paul Ritchie's eventful year at the helm of our organization. In 2017, Paul was definitely the leader we needed. When Congress flexed their muscles, they discovered Paul couldn't be pushed around. Many of you might not know, but Paul played linebacker for his beloved Virginia Tech Hokies. And the bat was the ball carrier. And Paul said to me, Cody, whatever we do, we're not going to miss that tackle. Let's learn more about Paul's year at the helm. Let's roll the video. Thank you.
In 2017, AIADA did what it was born and built to do, under a chairman who was born to lead.
Well, you're managing people, and AIADA is all about people. So we have to organize ourselves to take those people and put them in motion to get things done.
Things like minimizing taxes.
We were tested as an organization from our heart to our soul on the BAT tax, or border adjustment tax. Most of the congressmen, most of the senators were not even aware of the BAT tax. So our job became an educational process of letting them know what the BAT tax was all about and what effect it might have on our industry. We hit the ground running with a fly-in where we had hundreds of members fly in to Congress. We all charged the Hill, went to congressmen offices, senators' offices, which is almost unheard of to get that many people to come to Washington, D.C., set up that many appointments with members of Congress in such a short period of time. Not just the imports. We had General Motors fighting right there with us side by side because they build cars in other countries as well, from Canada and Mexico. It was all part of the NAFTA organization that we've been operating under for 23 years. It set the rules for manufacturing in North America.
They're rules that make sense.
It has to be worked out so we can have another 23, 25 years of good neighborly cooperation among our North American countries. Countries want to protect their own businesses, their own manufacturing, and they don't want outside manufacturing to come in. But we see it as at AIADA as the competition is good for everyone. And people are coming out and starting to buy cars on a steady basis. I think dealers serve a purpose in the whole economic process. We're there for the consumer.
Which includes moderating regulations to protect them without limiting their ability to purchase.
People do still love the thrill of driving an automobile, and I don't think that's going away.
And even though Paul's thrilling time behind the wheel of AIADA is done, he's not going anywhere either.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2017 chairman, Paul Ritchie.
We got you back.
Paul. Now, Paul, last year when I said I was going to climb on stage with a baseball bat to make my point, I love the fact that you didn't hesitate. You said, go get them. So to commemorate your special year at the helm, we wanted to give you a little something that might signify what you accomplished. So it's a Louisville Slugger that says 2017 Chairman Ritchie. So thank you, Paul, for all that. I'm going to go give this to your wife, Carolyn, and she can do with it what she wants. So other than that.
I'm glad I don't have to go through TSA today. Before I get started, I want to congratulate Mr. Bachmann and my good friend Fritz Hitchcock. Well done, well deserved. Thank you. And thank you, Cody, for that great introduction. When I was first asked to serve on AIADA's executive committee and eventually as its chairman, I never imagined how much excitement awaited me. We've all heard the ancient curse, "May you live in interesting times." Well, in 2017, I certainly led AIADA through an interesting time. While we had our ups and we had our downs, I am pleased to report that as an organization, we are stronger than ever, and as an industry, we're more united than ever. After my installation in January of 2017, I returned home to Maryland to immediately join the fight against the 20% border adjustment tax. We knew we needed a show of force on Capitol Hill, and in just a few weeks, our Lean Mean Association arranged to fly in. Personally, I was holding my breath. I wasn't sure what kind of response to expect from our membership. Well, I shouldn't have worried. With barely any notice, dealers showed up in D.C. by the busload. AIADA pointed them in the right direction, and you charged the hill. I have never been more proud to be a dealer or part of association. We killed the bat tax that day with your support, and we will do it again if it becomes necessary. Our stores are too important to our customers, our communities, and our 577,000 employees to fall victim to congressional nonsense. As Cody said earlier, we're not out of the woods. Global trade, which has made our industry what it is today, is under fire. The renegotiation of NAFTA, new tariffs, and the threats of a trade war, these are all major red flags for dealers. And because every single one of them leads to the same place, more expensive cars and trucks. That's a problem, a big problem. And it's a problem AIADA is hard at work at solving in Washington, D.C. We have helped establish a coalition of automakers and auto suppliers to push back against anti-trade policy. And we're hard at work to identify and encourage the next generation of dealers like Fritz and Bert, who understand the role government plays in our business and the importance of showing up and standing up to the threats coming from our nation's capital. Thank you all for the opportunity to lead this association and your support. It's been an honor. Thank you very much. Enjoy your lunch.